this man on my screen needs no introduction. Jesse Borrego, thank you so much for being with us today, all from San Antonio, Texas. And so,
Iguana River.
and so I am Karina Luna, again, sharing some amazing space as we continue to discuss the sign catcher. So I know who you are, but I'm not sure everyone watching us knows who you are. So you're an actor. You've been involved with some popular films such as Blood In, Blood Out, Con Air, most recently the popular series Vida. But let us know a little bit more about who you are and what you want us to know about Jesse.
Well, most people know that I represent San Antonio, and I went to an audition for a very popular television show at that time called Fame. And Fame was an Alan Parker film that talked about a school of performing arts, PA, in New York. So it was very well known. It was a beautiful film, right? It started a lot of people's careers, including Irene Cara, who sang the song Fame. And so I think from the popularity of that show, they made a television series out of it. And the series is about 3 or 4 years into it when I was in acting school in Califas. And so a lot of us used to watch the show. Well, they had an open audition, kind of like an American Idol type of audition. And this young Chicana said, you know what, I got something for him. And so I went down there and I sang a song that was on an album that my father had recorded. So I sang to them in Spanish. You know?
Wow.
And then I stopped in the middle and I said, oh, by the way, I can sing in English too. And I sang in English.
Sass.
And I sang a soul song. Boom. So I got through the audition. I danced for Debbie Allen, and I auditioned for the casting directors, and I eventually wound up getting a part. So it was me, Janet Jackson, and Nia Peoples were the new kids in high school that year. And so that was the beginning of my professional career. I was still trying to figure out a way to be myself and to tell our stories, which I felt were underserved. And that's led me to Sign Catcher, because over the years, I taught myself how to produce our own projects. I taught myself how to, help develop young screenwriters and their ideas and narratives. And I say young because, I consider OT very young spirit.
Absolutely.
I know he's been around.
And I'm gonna interject. I'm going to interject right there because I actually just had a conversation with James Acevedo, and we talked about this very thing, that we don't really have other pillars we can turn to, other mentors who will just take us and teach us how to produce and how to, write a line budget, So I think it's amazing to hear you, an actual working actor who has turned producer, who has been able to change the narrative and allow some people to create and share our stories. With this project, The Sign Catcher, how do you feel that this project, this series, this book, will impact Latinos on a grander scale?
The beauty of a story like Sign Catcher and the ability to take such a great narrative, such a great literary narrative. When you read the story and when you absorb the story and you see the journey that this human being took, I think you're going to see that people are going to relate to it in two ways. One is in a very visceral understanding of who we are as human beings, and when I say we, I'm not just referring to Latinos, specifically, a Chicano from, Northern California, Southern California, the Califas environment. But I think, and the other impact is going to be that the epic journey that he has to take spiritually is something that's never been, I think, addressed, not in the last 20 years, that epic quality, because it does transcend ages, but it really feels like a very contemporary journey. And within that journey, there's very real occurrences. And so you're dealing with our Chicano history, and our Chicano history in a very social activist way. And yet it's not necessarily, because a lot of times you see those types of stories and they're linked to a política, movimiento. And I think the beauty about this story is it is a kind of a journey of a man becoming aware of himself and his spiritual power. So I think that's something that's going to impact them because they've never seen a film like that necessarily, is specifically coming from the people that wrote it and the people that did it, So that's one of the advantages of, like I said, having the writer as a producer, creator.
Right.
So that's the one essence, right? That they're going to recognize this story in a very real, everyman way. Oh, that's us, a story about our raza, kind of like Lucito and Blood and Blood Out. But then they're going to see this, they're going to be taken on this, again, bigger journey that's going to be like, wow, I didn't know that all of this happened, that we were capable of this, that this human being went through this, that the sign catcher had to go through this journey to understand the science. And again, I'm getting very heady because ultimately it's going to impact them visually.
Right.
When we do this film, I mean, it's going to be a film that if we bring the right elements together, we have the right creative artists, then it's going to transcend the manuscript and it's going to become the film of the novel Sign Catcher. And that's ultimately what you want. You don't want a biography, you don't want a biopic, you want something that impacts them. And I think the manuscript does that. So as a film, that's what I want to do. And so if it does that, then we should win Academy Awards. But even if we don't, we're gonna win Arieles.
Right.
And if we don't win Arieles, we're gonna win at the Havana Film Festival. And if we don't win there, then we're gonna win at the Colombia South American Film Festival, on and on and on. We're gonna win at the Venice Film Festival. So I think once we get to what we want to do as filmmakers, and again, this is my dream, me projecting, is we're going to transcend the manuscript, which is already, like I said, it's such an uplifting art form already.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to.
That's going to be the dream.
I'm excited to see it, read it when it comes out, see it when it comes out. For me, the hope is that we just win hearts. We just win people's awakening and, spiritual commitment to finding their own gifts within themselves.
And again, as much as I exemplify winning awards in the American industry,
right,
which is okay, that's a dream, right? That's
of course,
that's something to go for. I see now that as creators, that we can connect directly to our own demographic. And so I see this project, especially if we're able to do it as a series, I see us streaming directly to our own platform, directly to our own people, under our own shingle, the Sign Catcher's shingle. So we don't even need to worry about Netflix. We don't need to worry about selling it to Hulu.
Right.
We're going to directly make it and show it to our people. And if we're able to connect the dots, then to me, that is when we made it. So that's my big dream,
Yes.
But right now, let's just get to the point where it's a good script and we're able to knock it out of the ballpark. Pilot.
Absolutely.
10 episodes. Pilot and 10 episodes. Let's go.
Boom. Easy. We got that.
Easy.
At this time, we're good, yeah? Okay. So at this time, Jesse, I would love to thank you for taking the time to be with us. I'm excited to see your involvement, not just with this project, but with all your other passions and projects. And I thank you for your existence and for you continuing to put your energy forth and being a part of contributing towards moving a needle. So thank you for your time today.
Amen. Tamo. You got it, Carnana. Anytime.